Have you ever looked around and wondered, how much of what I believe is just something I heard grow up, something people repeated, something that feels true but is totally false? Do you believe things like you only use 10% of your brain, or lightning never strikes the same place twice, or that goldfish can only remember 3 seconds, or even the idea that touching a baby bird means its mother will abandon it? These myths aren't just cute stories, they're traps for the mind, beliefs so persistent they survive generations, stubborn like weeds. Tonight, we peel back the veil on myths so absurd you'll laugh. They're foolish, they're dangerous, and yet they shape how we see the world. Let's dive in. The myth that humans only use 10% of their brains is one of the oldest and perhaps the most flattering. It promises hidden potential, an untapped you. But neuroscience, modern imaging, every brain scan ever done shows activity everywhere. Even when resting, your brain parts are alive, controlling breathing, filtering senses, making you aware. There is no silent 90%. Contrast that with the myth of lightning never striking the same place twice, a comforting lie implying nature is fair. The truth, tall structures, mountain peaks, places like the Empire State Building get struck repeatedly. Lightning doesn't keep track of geography or justice, it follows physics. Then there's the goldfish myth. They have 3-second memories. Imagine thinking your pet forgot you already 10 times a day. But scientists have tested goldfish, taught them routines, monitored their capacities for months. They remember cues, feedings, even navigation. And pairing that with chewing gum stays in your stomach for 7 years. A myth so vivid that parents used it to scare kids with swallowed gum. In truth, gum moves through your digestive system and exits like other indigestible material. The contrast, gullible fear versus boring biology. What about touching baby birds causes mothers to abandon them? One of the most heart-wrenching myths of infancy and innocence. It plays on guilt. You rescue, you care, but then you're told you might be causing harm. Reality is kinder. Most bird species don't rely on smell the way we imagine, and mother birds generally accept their chicks back, no matter human interference. Compare that with myths of cruelty, like shaving hair makes it grow back thicker or darker. You see a rougher edge, you feel betrayed by your razor, but the biology is simple. Shaving doesn't change follicle or pigment. Myths about history are just as twisted. Napoleon was extremely short. We love to portray him as a tiny villain, but he was about 5'6" in French measurements, average for his time. The Napoleon complex is built not on height but on legend. Then there's Vikings wore horned helmets. Romantic art, opera, costumes, yes. Archaeology and history. No evidence that harnessed war Vikings ever did. Imagery overshadows fact. Even common sayings. We lose most heat from our head, repeated by grandparents and survival experts alike. But your head only loses as much heat as exposed skin allows. If your head is the only part uncovered, yes, it's a lot. But not because your skull steals heat magically. And glass is a slow-moving liquid. Old windows bulge? They do, but not because glass flows over centuries. Those distortions came from how glass was made long ago. Some myths touch our health and behavior. Bulls hate red. Not true. Bulls are colorblind to red. It's the motion of the cape that provokes them, not the color. Full moon causes madness, increases crime. Folklore is full of tales of lunacy under moonlight, but studies show no consistent evidence for spikes in violent behavior. Yet we still whisper, lock the doors, it's a full moon. Then there are myths we tell ourselves to survive. Einstein failed math. A myth born to comfort anyone struggling with study, to suggest that genius can emerge from failure. But records show young Albert excelled in mathematics almost from the start. Comparing failure myth versus real history draws sharp contrast between hope and truth. Some are more whimsical. Daddy longlegs are the most venomous spiders, but they can't bite humans. Sounds foreboding, right? But studies show they're harmless to people. The myth spreads because fear loves mystery. And banana trees. Many say bananas grow on trees. In fact, they grow on giant herbs, not trees. As these myths dance around our culture, they do more than misinform. They shape nightmares, fears, perceptions. They twist common sense, distort history, and sometimes harm animals, or worse, our relationships with nature and each other. Each myth is like a cracked mirror, offering a distorted reflection of truth. So now, let me ask you this. Which myth did you believe without question? Which story still echoes in your mind from childhood or from hearsay? In the comments, tell me the myth you're never buying again.